Hello, beautiful souls. Today we continue our exploration of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, a book that has been guiding us towards greater presence, peace, and connection to our true essence. Today we're diving into the principle that is both profound and practical, the role of the watcher. The watcher, or the observer, is a concept that lies at the heart of Tolle's teachings. It's the practice of stepping back from the constant stream of thoughts, emotions, and reactions that run through our mind, and realizing that we are not those thoughts. We are the one observing them. This shift in perspective is transformative. It allows us to detach from our mental chatter, reduce stress, and experience life with clarity and calm. So let's unpack what it means to step into the role of the watcher, why it matters, and how we can practice it in everyday life. Welcome to Spiritual Midwife, the podcast that tenderly guides you through the transformative journey of spiritual awakening and personal development towards the ultimate destination of soul sovereignty. I'm Claire Attio, a medicine woman and dedicated guide to the profound realm of soul sovereignty, and you are listening to Spiritual Midwife. Have you ever had a moment where you suddenly become aware of your thoughts? Perhaps you were worrying about something, and then a part of you noticed, wow, I've been worrying for a while now. That moment of awareness is the watcher within you. The watcher is the deep consciousness, the part of you that is not entangled in the mind's stories. It's the presence that observes your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine your mind is a busy highway filled with cars rushing in every direction. Each car represents a thought or emotion. Most of the time, we are in the cars, swept along for the ride. But when we step into the role of the watcher, it's like standing on the side of the road, simply observing the traffic without getting caught up in it. This shift from identification with the mind to observing the mind is where profound transformation begins. When we live without the awareness of the watcher, we're at the mercy of our thoughts and emotions. We believe every thought as if it's the truth, react impulsively to every feeling, and lose ourselves in the drama of the mind. By stepping into the role of the watcher, we create space between ourselves and our thoughts. And this space allows us to detach from negativity. When we observe a negative thought, we can see it for what it is, just a thought, not a reality. It can reduce reactivity. Instead of reacting impulsively, we gain the ability to respond thoughtfully. Observing our mind quietens down its chatter, revealing the stillness and peace of our deeper self. So how does this principle show up in daily life? Let's explore a few scenarios. Imagine you're agonizing over a choice, whether to take a job, move to a new city, or end a relationship. Your mind is racing with all the what ifs and should I questions. And instead of being consumed by these thoughts, step into the role of the watcher. Notice the thoughts without getting caught in them. Say to yourself, my mind is trying to solve this right now. This detachment often brings clarity and prevents unnecessary stress. It's what I talk about with my spiritual work, that breathing into the heart space. Coming away from the mind, coming away from that problem solving and breathing into the heart space. Allowing your heart, allowing your intuition, your connection to the divine to guide you. Another example is emotional triggers. Maybe someone criticizes you and you feel an immediate surge of anger or hurt. Instead of reacting, pause and observe. And acknowledge that you feel the anger rising within you. And it's coming from the mind. The mind feels attacked because there is an old wound, an old unresolved situation stored in your mind. And this same given situation is having you feel those old emotions. It's not your emotions of the moment. It's your emotions of an unresolved situation or memory that has been stuck in your mind. And when we can actually take that on board, we can take a breath and we can allow ourselves to just observe what was said, and we can process how we feel about it in the moment, in the presence, without being reactive or without saying something we might regret. The other thing we can become observant on, and we should be the watcher of, is the everyday mind chatter. And it's during the mundane activities like washing the dishes or driving. The mind loves to chitter-chatter. Just practice washing these thoughts as they come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky. Or I say to people, turn up the volume. What are you actually saying to yourself? What is that chitter chatter? Is it supportive or is it self-deprivative? Listen to what's going on, and that will be a good indicator of the things that you need to work on. So becoming the watcher is a skill that grows with practice. And I know you're all going to hate me that, because all of these things are skills that grow with practice. It's practicing it over and over and over again until we actually change the way we take back the control of our lives. And I'm going to give you some tools to help you step into being the watcher more often. And you know what the first one's going to be. The first one is meditation. Spend a few minutes each day just sitting quietly and observing your thoughts without engaging with them. Let them come, let them go, like waves of an ocean. Mindful pauses is another little modality that we can use to help us become the watcher of our minds. And throughout the day, just take short pauses to notice your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I thinking about right now? And can I watch this thought instead of identifying with it? And that one is really powerful. Can I just watch this thought without identifying with it? And when we say without identifying with it, is we don't get pulled into it. We don't start to feel the emotions of it. We don't start coming up with solutions, or if X, Y, and Z happens, I'm going to respond with blah, blah, blah. And it's really important. It is challenging, this one, and it does take a lot of practice. Can I watch this thought instead of identifying with it? Your body awareness, and we talked about that last week. Anchor your awareness in your body. Notice the sensations like your breath or the feeling of your feet on the ground. One, it grounds you in the presence and it helps you observe the mind with much more clarity. And label your thoughts. When a thought arises, give it a label like planning, worrying, judging. Labeling will help you. I'm not a lover of labels because I think it kind of puts people and things in boxes and it doesn't allow for expansion. But there are times where labeling things can be useful. It can keep us organized for one. But when we're looking at the mind, when we can label what our thoughts are, it allows us to see the thought as just an activity of the mind and not our identity. And I think that's the key there, is it's just an activity going on in the mind. It's not who we are. Those thoughts do not define us. So moving on, as we have with all the other principles of the power of now, how do they connect with the 4 agreements? Be impeccable with your word. Observing our thoughts helps us align our words with truth and integrity, rather than reacting from unchecked emotions. Don't take anything personally. The watcher helps us see that others' actions are their own and not a reflection of our worth. Don't make assumptions. When we watch our thoughts, we can question the stories our mind creates, and we can avoid jumping to conclusions. Always do your best. Practicing the role of the watcher allows us to show up with clarity and intention, doing our best from a grounded and present state. The role of the watcher is not something we achieve once and for all. It's a practice. I'm going to go back because it's terribly important that we all take this on board. It's a practice and a way of living, and we want to get it into our subconscious. We want to anchor it into our subconscious like we anchor brushing our teeth in the mornings and at night, our routines. So it becomes a habitual routine, a way of living. The more we step into this role, the more we'll notice a sense of lightness and freedom in our lives. Remember, we're not our thoughts. We are the awareness that observes them. This simple yet profound truth can transform how we experience ourselves and the world. So, that said, thank you for joining me on this journey today. If this episode has inspired you, share it with someone who could benefit from this practice. And as always, beautiful souls, subscribe so you don't miss the next step in our exploration of the power of now. Until next time, stay present, stay curious, and remember, the watcher within you is the gateway to your true self. This is Spiritual Midwife signing off. Blessings to you all.